Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today it's day 17 of Advent of Code. And today it's actually some small robots that are out on impending danger on our aft scaffolding. And we actually have a program that can handle this, the aft scaffolding control and information interface, the ASCII, which is our puzzle input. And if we run that, it will actually give us back ASCII character where the robots are located on the scaffolding, and we need to print those out, and there will be And I'm back, and the value I got was 6212. So let's see if that's the correct value. 6212. Let's submit that. And you get a gold star, I get a gold star, everybody gets a gold star. So this was quite simple actually. I first ran the program right up and didn't do any changes there, just ran it, got the output, took the output, made a character of each output value, and then printed that out. And that led me to actually getting this little map here. And I looked at the map and I thought it were 50 wide and 41 long, but I guess it was just 49 wide or something. So when I actually ran what I did in an earlier episode here, number 15.2, I ran through that and I set it up to 49 and 50, so I had it a little bit longer than required. And then I take my input here, space, I create a drawing of that size. I go through and read each of this. If I find a hash mark, I will set 1. Otherwise, I will set 0. Then I do a printing of the area. So I actually see here, down here, that I get the same shape of everything. So I haven't missed the actual output. And then I run through everything and check if I have an intersection. And if so, I will multiply the x and y and sum that up. And checking for intersection was pretty much the same as we did in day 15, but we look in all the directions, north, south, east, and west, and see that we have 1 in all those positions. Then we have an intersection. And then we just run the program and get the output. So this was pretty simple. Let's go on to part 2, and I will read that and get back to you when I know what to do. Hello again. So I have figured out what to actually do here, and this one is a little bit more tricky. So if we have our map that we looked at earlier, and like this, we need to visit all places of this map. So we start off here, and when we have visited all of the map, we need to figure out how much space dust we actually gathered during our little program here, during our little walk during this little spacewalk here. So, and the problem we have is that we have a program and we need to go through all of this maze and visit all the places, but we can't do it with how many instructions as we like, because that would be too easy. So each routine may only contain 20 characters, and that's not counting the new line, because we will send a bunch of characters for moving, and then we also need to send a bunch of characters for which program to run in sequence. And when we have ran through all the maze, we will end up with something where we can say how much dust we actually gathered. We can also ask for if we want to see the feed after we have done this, and we will answer either with yes or no, and that could help us to see what we are doing. So that might be something that we want to look into. So this is interesting, very interesting. I've done this once before with a game I played on my other channel, where I played a game called Hackers, and you needed to run a robot through a maze and lit a lot of lights, and you also had a very constrained amount of movements there. And it actually ended up that I created a program that figured out all the solutions and then pick one of them, because I were not really keen on sitting and trying to figure out how to move around that maze. But I will do a good try here and see if I can figure out some pattern through our maze that makes sense, so I can split it up in multiple functions and give that input to our program. The actual input to the program should not be that hard. It's the actual figuring out how the input should be presented to the program that's the hard part, I guess. But I'll give it a try, and I'll get back to you if I figure it out. And we are back, and I actually figured this one out. It took me a long while, but I figured out that the sequence should be A, B, B, C, B, C, B, C, C, A. And then you have these operations over here. And I did it by actually plotting them out in a straight line. So here is all the inputs. And after that, I tried to break them up in sequences, and I had one wrong. So I had one where it was 10 here, which made me go for a little bit of a loop. But after a while, I figured out that that can't be right. So I changed that up to an 8. And then I got the sequence right. I've run the program, and you see that I start in this position over here. And then I end up in the position down here. And I also ran it with the parameter yes here. So it actually prints out each iteration. There's a lot of outputs. I'm not going to do that. And then I get this large number as an output. It feels very right. So let's try it out. Put it in and see if we have solved this one too. Yes, you get a gold star, I get a gold star, everybody gets a gold star. Great, and let's look at the code. So, this is pretty much, you need to figure out which should be the main function, the function A, function B, and function C. Then we set up our program here, we change the first memory address to 2, we copy it over, we set up the int computer, then we will set up an input, we will add as a string all the values, so main, then function A, function B, function C, and then last here we say no, I don't want to see an update for every move. And then I will add that input to my computer, I will run my computer, and I will get some output out. And here it actually outputted all the questions, it outputted all the different the maps before and after and so on. So I printed out everything that I see until the last output, and that output is the actual value that I want, and that is what I pick up here and print out. Add to string is very simple too. It takes the input, it takes a string, goes through the string of a length, take character at each position of that string, switch it over to a long and push that, and I will push a character return number 10, so that's the /n. I think that's carriage or something, but it's the line break at least. So after I run this, we have solved this program. So it was a little bit of a challenge. It was something that you first off had to map out all the different ways you can go in this maze, be meticulous to actually figure out how many steps you needed to take, and then do a long list of that, figure out how you should break it down into sub-programs, and after that it was just inputting it into the computer, which was pretty simple in this case. So I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned something today. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them down in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you like puzzles and interesting new libraries or tutorials about Java and other stuff, then please subscribe to the channel. And I really hope to see you in the next video.